We have Quote Jonathan on the line. Quote Jonathan, how are you?
I'm doing good. So many things to talk to you about this morning.
Well, let's try to get to one.
Yeah, can I first point out something you just said? You quoted Eric Swalwell, or you played that clip.
Mm-hmm.
How come you didn't play the 6 or 7 seconds after that clip where
he
Swalwell
says that it's J.D. Vance? Because J.D. Vance,
that's J.D. Vance.
What did J.D. Vance say about his? What did J.D. Vance say about his comments?
J.D. Vance.
What did J.D. Vance say about his comments when he made that comment about Donald Trump? What has J.D. Vance said about that?
He changed his mind because he's not a career opportunist or anything like that.
No, he said he was wrong, and he recognizes that he's wrong. So when someone says something and they say they're wrong about it, should you then go quote it like it was an accurate statement when they've recanted the statement?
Right. It's not like J.D. Vance is a career opportunist.
No. Hey, Jonathan, I know the seminar caller's back. Simple thing. If you make a statement and then you're like, oh, my gosh, I was wrong about that, should I then quote that statement for the rest of your life and point back to it?
That's fine. So why didn't you point that out?
Well, I figured someone like you would. I mean, it's not a secret. J.D. Vance said it.
You figured the clueless people that listen to this show would just not think.
See, I'm not a spiteful, hateful person like you. I don't think listeners are stupid. I don't even think you're stupid, even though you bring stupid calls. But I don't think you're stupid. I think you're kind of sly like a fox. I mean, I don't know why you think anyone doesn't know who you are at this point when you call in. But whatever, use whatever name you want. Be Mickey Mouse if you want.
Yeah, I call a lot of bigger shows that have more listeners and callers. So
yet you spend time with me. You're so kind.
Yeah,
you're so. You're benevolent. Hey, by the way, which of the Indiana Jones movies do you think is the best?
I could care less. Why are we killing time on that?
I'm not killing time. It's a question we've been asking listeners. I've got hundreds of responses to it. I was just wondering. I thought maybe you might have an opinion.
The original.
Which, Raiders of the Lost Ark, or which one are you talking about?
Raiders of the Lost Ark, yes.
So you're not in the camp that The Last Crusade was a better film?
No, the original was the best.
What about those two later ones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and the
Let me
Dial of
guess,
Destiny?
they're too woke.
I just thought they sucked. It had nothing to do with the woke. They were just bad. They're just bad films.
All right, fine, yeah. All right, can we get to politics?
But I meant, did you like them or no? I'm just curious.
Of course, the first one was terrific.
No, I meant the last two, the great Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and Dial of Destiny. Where would you rate them?
They were mindless entertainment.
All right, then. I see. That wasn't so hard. Jonathan, you got to lighten up, man. You're going to get a heart attack. You keep
That's not okay.
Just relax, man. Okay. So now that you made your comment with J.D. Vance, which we were ready for, but whatever, go on to your next thing. Which would you like to harp on next?
Yes, I have so many things to talk about.
No, we don't have endless time. So let's go. All right. Let's run through it.
Well, let me tell you. You talked about how normal Trump's speech was, and you made fun of Chris Hayes and Ali Velshi and whatnot.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I got to say that Trump's speech, while it's not normal to have a military parade in this country,
that's so not true. What do you base that on? What is this statement? We don't have military parades. We have military parades every Memorial Day. We have them every Veterans Day. There's parades all over the country.
We have parades, not military parades.
I'm sorry. What would you call it when there's military personnel and military vehicles in the parade?
I didn't see any local high school marching bands coming down.
Nope, I didn't bring up those. Did I? I said, what do you call it when you have military vehicles and military personnel marching in a parade on Veterans Day and on Memorial Day? What would you call that?
You're right. You're right. We have military parades all over the country every Memorial Day and Veterans Day. You're right, Joe. Sorry, I didn't realize that.
Well, I mean, you just said we never have them, but we do.
Because they're not the same. You're comparing apples and oranges.
Well, what was different?
Fine, Joe.
Did we blow anything up on?
Exactly.
Did we shoot anybody on Saturday?
The Memorial Day parade in my hometown here with the local PTA and the Little League and whatever, and 5 soldiers marching, 5 veterans or whatever.
Wow, you don't really care for veterans either, do you? Is there anyone you don't hate or despise or thinks below you?
What are you talking about? What did
I just say? The 5 veterans that show up. The 5 people that kept your lazy rear end free. That's who they are. The people that I mean, no, the way you talk about it. Explain to me what was bad about Saturday's parade.
I don't think there's suckers and losers.
Neither does Donald Trump.
Donnie.
Neither. There again, misquoting some never happened.
draft dodging bone spurs.
There we go
Donnie.
again. Hey, Jonathan, let me ask you a question. What was wrong with the parade on Saturday? What did they do that was in violation of our constitutional republic?
It's against it goes against the norms that we normally have.
What norm? What norm?
All right,
What norm did we break?
I don't want to go off on your dumb points.
No, it's your
make a
point. You
please?
brought up no, Jonathan. You brought up the parade. I'm asking you.
Yeah, but I
give me
didn't.
a
You're
solid
not letting me
answer.
finish.
I finished.
Trump-
You said it was the norm. What norm? What norm did we violate?
The norm is we don't have North Korea style.
Where was that? Where were the
military
goose-stepping
parade.
soldiers? Once again, total disrespect for our army. Where were the
Well,
goose-stepping soldiers?
If our military was trained to do goose stepping, I'm sure they would have.
So
That's
you
not
do
how
have
we train
disdain
our
for the Army. So the Army celebrates its 250th birthday, and they have a parade to celebrate their birthday,
Look, I know
and that makes them North Korea.
I know it's more fun for you to paint me as unpatriotic with blue hair, sitting in mom's basement eating Cheetos. I get it. I know what you want to paint to your listeners.
I was going to go with
but I'm
potato
sorry.
chips, but Cheetos are fine. I tell you what, you know what? Hold on. I'll give you one more chance for the break. We'll have a short few minutes after the break. You make a statement. I ask you to substantiate the statement, and then you make it about me. You said it violates a norm. What norm? Oh, the norm that we're not like North Korea. There's no norm. What are you even talking about? Give me an actual norm that was violated. Welcome back. Joe Gigant here. Regular Joe. Going to get right back to the phone lines. We only have about a minute and a half. Jonathan, I'll give you a full minute here, but two really quick questions. One, you said this breaks the norms. When the United States Army turned 200, do you know what part of their celebration? Do you know anything about how they celebrated that here in the United States at all?
Being that I was a kid at the time, no, I do not.
All right,
recall.
so that's simple yes or no. So, for instance, you don't know that at the New York Yankees Shea Stadium, they brought an entire battery of cannons, and that one of the cannons misfired and actually took out part of the fence and burned a bunch of the area around it. And you're worried about a parade, but they had live cannons in a baseball field with people around. One of the Yankees saying they wanted to get out of the way.
And that's exactly the same as thousands of troops and tanks and other military.
No, that was much safer. Nobody got shot. There was no cannons going off. Sorry, that was one question. One other quick question, then I'll let you make some kind of a ridiculous point. Who do you think should be recast to play Indiana Jones now that Harrison Ford's too old?
I'm just going to throw any name out.
How about Donald Trump?
Yes, that would be perfect.
Great.
Donald
All right.
Trump, no, Eric Trump.
So now tell me what norm was violated. What was the norm? There's a non-existent North Korean norm.
I've already proven the point.
No, you haven't. You haven't proven anything.
Yeah, because we know what happened at Yankee Stadium or whatever you just alluded to. We all know that that's the same exact thing as what happened yesterday.
I'd say it was worse. You don't think, real quick, you don't think that was worse? A cannon misfiring and going off is not worse than a parade? You prove nothing.
The regular
Joe Gigante, your regular Joe. Oh, how will I recover from the seminar caller? This time going by Jonathan. He said he proved his point. Only if his point was that he's a mindless liberal that has no ability to answer simple questions. This is what's been so beautiful about the past few years with Donald Trump and others. I mean, we've always been this way. Challenge them. You don't get just to make a statement and, well, it must be true because I said so. It violates the norm. Apparently there's a mythical North Korea norm that none of us were familiar with, where we shall not bear any resemblance to North Korea by having a military parade. You know, they have toilets in North Korea too. Does that make us like North Korea? I mean, they serve 3 meals a day in North Korea. Oh, we're being too North Korean. Our military wears uniforms and carries weapons. Oh, we're being too much like North Korea. Well, you're just being obtuse. We don't do military parades, except for when we do. I mean, we have Memorial Day, Labor Day every year. But because other people are in the parade, it negates the military presence. As he said with a sneer, those 5 or 6 veterans, those dummies, they probably voted for Trump. But by the way, we had one in 1991. He's also a Republican. It's George Herbert Walker Bush. The troops that returned from the first Gulf War. They had a parade, a military parade. Must have been North Korea in the making. I mean, this is just because what are they really upset about? I mean, honestly, what is it that makes them hurt in that little small special place that they need to show people on the doll? Makes me feel icky here. I mean, the military marched. Oh, you mean we did pass and review? There's a term for it? Yes, there's a term for it. We've been doing it since the country was founded. Oh, he's angry in Rumble now too? Well, good for him. I mean, I always find interesting is because, even as I just call on your show that nobody listens to, apparently he does on a regular basis. And then they go, well, I don't listen much except for every time you call in, but whatever. 888-737-1737, 888-737-1737. And the answer before you ask, because it's sport. I mean, it's almost like a cat playing with a mouse, but either way, it's a little bit of morning hunting for me. I'm going to come in and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this, and you can't question anything I'm saying, because they're spoiled brats, most liberals. They think they get to throw a fit and they get their way. It just doesn't play. Now, look, if you could make a substantive statement, I mean, I don't know, then there might be something there, but thus far, all I got was a bunch of empty air. It's one of my great regulars texted in, and he said, did we have missiles on launchers during the parades like they do in North Korea? No.